So today we're going to talk about how to feel more confident. We are constantly bombarded with messages in our society that suggest our worth is tied to our appearance, our weight, or our achievements. And as a result, so many of us struggle with inadequacy and low self-esteem, believing we are not good enough as we are. And we might turn to diets, get really good at criticizing ourselves, or pursue external validation in an attempt to boost our confidence, only to find, of course, ultimately those solutions are not solutions. They are temporary, and ultimately they don't work in the long run. So true confidence doesn't come from changing our bodies or reaching certain milestones or certain goals. It comes from within. True confidence is a deep-seated belief in our own worth and our own value. And today I'm going to explore the concept of inner confidence and give you 6 strategies to build unshakable confidence from the inside out. So if you listen to the show, you know that the first week of every month, and today is the first week of the month of June, I answer questions from listeners. And here are some questions that I've gotten recently. How can I build self-confidence when I feel so ashamed of my eating habits? What can I do to feel better about myself? How can I separate my self-worth from my weight? I feel stuck. I don't have the confidence to do new things until I lose weight. These are all questions that people sent in an email to me. So let's talk first about why weight loss doesn't equal confidence, and then I'm going to tell you what to do to feel more confident, aside from, losing weight, which of course always backfires. Okay, so it is a really pervasive message in our society. You scroll through social media, you flip through a magazine, and the message is clear from the $60 billion diet industry. Weight loss is the key to happiness. It is the key to confidence. It is the key to a better life. No, it's not. That is a lie. Losing weight might change your appearance, but true confidence does not come from the number on the scale. So where does real sustainable confidence come from? Well, true confidence, the kind that supports us through life's ups and downs, that is cultivated in the way that we treat ourselves, the kindness we extend to ourselves, especially when we're struggling. And the patience that we give ourselves during our journey. So it comes from self-compassion, not self-criticism. You cannot criticize yourself into liking yourself better. No one has ever hated themselves into loving themselves. That's just how it is. So think about it. Have you ever achieved a goal only to have that really fleeting sense of accomplishment before moving on to the next thing? It's like, okay, I did that. Next, what's next? Can't take it in. It doesn't build a foundation of confidence. It's just like, okay, what's next? On the ladder of life, you're always looking up. What's the next rung? So that chase for external validation, which comes from losing weight, from accomplishments, all of those things, it leaves you feeling even more self-critical and often just depleted and empty. And of course, we know that if you feel empty, you may symbolically use food to fill that empty space up. If you have a void within, you may eat to fill the void. Not that you're consciously thinking of it. No one has ever said, oh, I feel a void in my life. There is something missing. Let me go to the kitchen and symbolically fill it. No, nobody thinks it. It's not logical. It's psychological. It's unconscious. It's, I feel bad. I don't feel fulfilled. What's in the kitchen? But when you start to recognize, hey, what are the hidden thoughts? What are the unconscious motivations to why you are turning to food? It becomes a lot more clear, and then you can do something about it. So real confidence is not about meeting arbitrary social standards. It's about understanding and embracing who you are with all your unique qualities and imperfections, because we are all perfectly imperfect. And by the way, research definitely suggests that confidence is crucial to both our mental and physical health. When you build confidence from within, you are setting you're building a foundation that supports you in all areas of your life. You become more resilient, better able to handle stress, and you're more likely to pursue opportunities that align with what you want and with your true self. So confidence is about nurturing a deep-seated belief in your basic worth. And that is independent of what you weigh or what you're accomplishing. So rather than fixating on the numbers on the scale or the reflection in the mirror, let's cultivate a sense of curiosity about what makes you feel truly alive, truly valued by yourself and others, and how you connect with other people. That's confidence. And again, I'm going to get to ways in which we're going to build and cultivate more confidence from within. But first, let's just take a look at what makes you lack confidence. And that really takes us to a question of, where did you learn you're not good enough? People are constantly telling me, well, I'm not good enough. I think I'll be good enough when I lose weight, or I'll be good enough when I get that new job, or I'll be good enough when I meet someone and get married, or I'll be good enough when I have a family, or I'll be good enough when, when, then. What's good enough? What is good enough? And by the way, I forgot to mention that if you are listening live on Voice America and you would like to join the show, the number to reach me is 866-472-5792. If you have a question or a comment on this topic, feel free to call me. And if you are on the Instagram live stream, same thing. Well, don't call me, just leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking and how this is resonating with you. So, where did you learn that you're not good enough? Because from a young age, many of us are bombarded by cultural standards and expectations that shape our perception of ourselves. Whether that comes from the media, from our families, from our peers, friends, we get either subtle or overt messages about what it means to be good enough. And these manifest in different forms, like comparison to others, criticism, or unrealistic standards of success or beauty or attractiveness. And often when we're held up to a fantasy ideal of how we should be in other people's minds often, or in our own, when we have a fantasy ideal of the ideal self, we always fall short because we can never live up to a fantasy. A fantasy just made up, and of course, it's perfect. My mentor has a friend who cannot finish a book. My mentor, who's on his 108th book or something, we're collaborating on our third book, but I love him, and he is so productive. But he has a friend who cannot finish a book because as long as that book exists in that person's mind, it is the perfect book. It is perfect. But if that person wrote the book, it would not be perfect. And this person has a hard time dealing with the reality of what reality would be, dealing with the reality of reality, which means giving up the hope of perfection, the toxic hope. Because when we're holding ourselves to a standard, whether it's something we do, something we're going to achieve, or something we are, we're never as good as the ideal. The ideal is perfect. We humans and what we produce and how we look, we are not perfect. We can't be. It's what makes us interesting. So here are some areas where we learn to feel not good enough. School starts with school. So academic performance and social dynamics, that can play a real role in shaping our self-worth. Not fitting in with social groups. Oh, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that. The pain of having everyone else go off to lunch and leaving you by yourself, or you're not the first one picked for the team, or the second, you're like the last. Oh, it's so humiliating. I have been there. Anyway, This idea of not fitting in, feeling left out, not being a part of in school with social groups very, very early on, even preschool, can leave you with a narrative that you're not good enough, you're not likable enough, you're not smart enough, you're not whatever enough. And that really erodes your self-confidence. Then there's the diet industry. And by the way, these are in no particular order. Again, $60 billion industry perpetuates the myth that physical appearance is linked to our self-worth. Advertisements and social media, they often glorify certain body types, leading us to believe that we have to conform to those ideals in order to be good enough, in order to be accepted and valued and acceptable. And this, of course, can cause the dreaded diet binge cycle, because we go on this cycle of, oh, I'm going to diet, then I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to build muscle, or whatever it is, and then I'll be good enough. And of course, you feel bad about yourself and criticize yourself, and diets lead to binging because deprivation leads to you wanting what you cannot have. And and then boom, you're off the diet, then you're binging or overeating or whatever it is. And that cycle just reinforces the idea of, oh, see, I can't even stick to a diet. I'm not good enough. It reinforces the idea that there's something wrong with you, as opposed to reinforcing that there's something right, which we'll get to in a little bit. Also, family dynamics. Oh, family dynamics. Our upbringing plays a crucial role in shaping our self-esteem. When we have parents or caretakers or guardians who are overly critical or have high expectations, or just we don't fit in the family, like they're into sports, but we're into reading, can make us feel like we're not good enough. But anyway, critical parents, people with high expectations, they can instill a sense of an inadequacy in their children, even if they're criticizing them, hoping to bring out the best in them. It doesn't matter what the intention is. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, as the saying goes. So why they're doing it doesn't matter. That they're doing it is what matters. So even well-meaning comments about weight, appearance, or abilities can shape a person's self-perception and confidence, and that stays with them forever. Also, rejection. Actually experiencing rejection, which raise your hand if you've never felt rejection. No hands will be raised, because everybody on the planet has experienced rejection in some way at some time. And these experiences of rejection can really impact our sense of self-worth. Often when we are rejected, we feel rejectable. Notice the difference. Rejection is just, you have been rejected. Someone has said no to you. No, you're not going to get that job. I don't want to be with you. You're whatever it is. So you have been rejected. But when we make ourselves rejectable, now we personalize it. Now we feel not good enough. So whether we don't get a job we interview for, whether we have a breakup or experience some kind of social rejection, these events, they lead to these internalized beliefs that we're not deserving or capable of happiness or success, because there's something wrong with us. We're not good enough. If we were good enough, we wouldn't be rejected. That's a lie. Your good enoughness has nothing to do with being rejected, because, sad but true, we're not always going to be with the person we want to be or get the job we want to have. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or you're not good enough. It just means you didn't get the job, or maybe you don't have the skills, or it's not a right fit, or what have you. So over time, if you feel rejectable when you have been rejected, those beliefs that you're somehow rejectable and therefore not good enough can become deeply ingrained. And it really makes it hard to cultivate inner confidence when you feel like there's something essentially rejectable or wrong with you. And then we can self-reject, right? We're often very mean to ourselves and speak in a harsh, critical, nasty manner that we would never say usually to a friend or anyone we love. And then when we reject ourselves, when we are rejected and we feel rejectable, we feel like we're not good enough. And then we have this narrative that keeps popping up, and we can tell ourselves that, well, you're not good enough. I'm not good enough. Makes us feel terrible. What takes you away from that terrible feeling with that mean voice? Oh, what's in the kitchen? DoorDash, drive-through, right? Another reason why we can come to feel not good enough are peer relationships. I guess that's kind of duplicative of school, but peer relationships. So our interactions in our childhood and especially in adolescence can also really impact our beliefs about ourselves. Bullying, being excluded, negatively being compared to others, that really damages our self-esteem at a time when our self-esteem is more based on what our peers think than what our parents think. So these social experiences reinforce the notion that we're not good enough, and it leads to this internal narrative of self-doubt. I wasn't accepted by them. They didn't like me. I was part of the group and then I wasn't, or I'm totally overlooked, or I don't fit in anywhere. What's wrong with me? I must not be good enough. So the interpretation of your circumstances becomes your belief. It becomes your truth. But it's not. It's just an interpretation. Also, the workplace. It's another place where we learn to be not good enough, because our jobs provide an environment where feelings of inadequacy can be cultivated, especially because at work, often what people are looking at is what we're doing wrong. Not a lot of bosses or employers are like, good job, excellent work. They don't waste time with that. They just expect that. But they do point out, oh, you did this wrong and you did that wrong and you can improve. And, okay, you're meeting expectations here, but you need improvement here. So performance reviews, competitive colleagues, the pressure to meet goals and milestones can contribute to a feeling of not being good enough. I can't even tell you how many people have said, well, I'm this age, so shouldn't I be this far in my career? Shouldn't I be further in my career by now? I'm not where I should be. So shooting on themselves, not feeling good enough because of where they are. Based on what? Based on what narrative? Some made-up narrative that says, at this age, I should be this or that. And this is especially true in cultures that prioritize productivity and success over well-being and personal growth. And we, in the United States and many parts of Europe, I know we now have listeners in 45 countries. I am so excited that this podcast is reaching people in 45 countries. So in the United States, where I am, in Los Angeles, where I live, yeah, we live in that culture. We're all kind of trained to be human doings and not human beings. Thank you, Dalai Lama. He said, we are human beings, not human doings. Or it is said that he said that. I think he said that. It sounds like something he would say. All right. And also relationships, romantic relationships especially, that can influence our self-perception. When we, again, experience rejection or criticism or emotional neglect, that can lead to feelings of unworthiness. Often, especially women, don't say, I don't like the way that person is treating me. Because we're socialized to be like, oh, well, they've had a hard day, or they were traumatized in childhood, or excuse for why they're treating you badly. But then we take on that narrative, especially women. You're not treating me well. Oh, what's wrong with me? I must not be good enough for you. And again, that just reinforces the belief that we need to change or improve ourselves to be loved and acceptable. And last are cultural and social narratives, because we get messages all the time. Have I mentioned the $60 billion diet industry? Yes, I have. I mention it every single episode. The $60 billion diet industry is selling a story. Talk about a narrative. They are selling a message that if you look a certain way, you will have a certain life. And these messages can really deeply impact our self-esteem and our confidence. Let me tell you about a TV show. This TV show is 64 years old, and it is just as pertinent today as it was then. What is this TV show, you may be wondering? It is an episode of The Twilight Zone called The Eye of the Beholder. It is a classic episode. So if you have not seen it, let me tell you what it is about. So in this episode, a woman named Janet undergoes surgery, and the whole point is she's supposed to, they want her to look, quote unquote, normal. And throughout the whole episode, everyone's sort of in the shadows, and her face is wrapped in bandages so we can't see her. And the doctors and the nurses who are discussing her case, they're also in shadows, so we can't see them. And in the end, the big reveal, Janet's bandages are removed, revealing she is actually a beautiful woman by our standards. Absolutely gorgeous by our standards. Oh, the dream decipher has remembers this episode. Yes, it's a classic episode. So you think, oh my God, the surgery worked. She's beautiful. Oh, but no. The medical staff, the doctors, and all the nurses, they are revealed to have these grotesque, like animal-like, pig-like, just animal-like heads, faces, like super ugly, super, super ugly, like the original Star Wars bar episode ugly. So in their society, Janet's beautiful appearance is considered ugly, hideous. Oh, they can't even look at her. She's so disgustingly ugly. So what can we learn from this episode? One, beauty is subjective. This episode challenges the idea that there is a universal standard of beauty. What is considered attractive in one society may be seen as ugly in another. By the way, Fiji did not have television until the 80s. I think 1986 is when TV came to Fiji. And before TV came to Fiji, what they considered beautiful was plumpness. So the statement, oh, the observation of, oh, you're looking thin, was actually like not a good thing. It was a criticism. Oh, you're looking too thin. You've lost weight. Is like what we considered, oh, you've gained weight. And then TV came to Fiji, and people started watching Melrose Place and things like that, and people started dieting and changing their standards of beauty, which is kind of tragic, but there it is. But until then, until TV came to Fiji, their standard of beauty was the plumper you are, the better you are. Yeah. We are told lies. Yes, Dream Decipher, we are told lies and we believe them. And that's why I want to expose those lies so that we can create our own truths. Also, the dangers of conformity. It's another lesson of this episode. It highlights the dangers of a society that demands strict adherence to a particular set of norms. And it shows how the pressure to conform, to look a certain way, to be a certain way, and I think we all know that pressure, can lead to a loss of individuality and loss of diversity. Also, it highlights the importance of self-acceptance. Janet's struggle to conform to her society's standards of beauty really hurt her. And it emphasizes the importance of accepting and loving yourself, regardless of what other people think. Regardless of what other people think. Because when you feel good about you, what other people think will matter less. Also, it's about prejudice and discrimination. It sheds light on how the episode sheds light on how people who are different from the majority can face prejudice, discrimination, and be ostracized. Someone wrote today in my my Facebook community. By the way, if you'd like to join my Facebook community, it's got people from all over the world, all of whom are interested in challenging some of the ideas that I talk about in my show every week, and embracing the idea of confidence from within, taking back ownership of your sense of self from the scale. And if they're dealing with emotional eating or binge eating or stress eating, recognizing that it is not what you're eating that is the problem, it is what's eating you. So I invite you to join my Dr. Nina's Food for Thought community on Facebook, where someone today wrote about the difficulty they're having in because of their weight, dealing with certain medical situations. I want to stay vague and protect them, but and just how much they feel like they are ostracized and treated like a second-class citizen because of their weight. Very, very, very heartbreaking. But I'm so glad that people have the forum of my community to reach out and get support. Another lesson from this episode is appearance versus character. You know, true beauty lies in your character, lies in your actions, rather than your physical appearance. I once dated a guy who looked like, seriously, a young John F. Kennedy. So handsome. He was so handsome that when we would walk into a restaurant, people were looking at him and not me. Oh, it was a blow to my ego. Yes, I admit that. No, that's how handsome he was. But as I got to know him, you know, there were things I didn't like. I didn't like certain things that he would say. I did not like certain things that he would think. I did not like how he treated waiters. I sound like Dr. Seuss. Anyway, basically ends up that the more I saw that I did not like in him, in his character, the less attractive he appeared to me. And the reverse has also happened, the converse. You know, meet someone, you're like, yeah, they're nice looking, they're fine, whatever. But then you get to know them and they've got a great personality and they're really fun and they're warm and they're kind and they're smart and they're all of that. And they start to look better in your eyes. Have you ever had that experience? Right? So character counts. Also, the power of perspective. The twist ending shows that our perceptions can be limited by our own experiences and what we expect due to our social norms. So I love it because it really encourages viewers to question their assumptions and consider alternate ways of thinking about it. And it's also, of course, a social criticism. It is a critique of societies that prioritize superficial qualities over individual merit, over humanity. And it shows the importance of empathy and understanding. It really encourages, I'm almost out of time. Sorry, Jordan. I'll be fast. It encourages viewers to put themselves in the shoes of those who are considered different and to approach others with empathy and understanding. This episode was 64 years ago. It is still pertinent. I encourage you, I'm sure it's on YouTube or somewhere. I encourage you to go see it, even though you now know the ending. It'll be really interesting. I am taking a 2-minute break. I will be back in 2 minutes, and then I will talk to you about strategies of how to be more confident. If you are on Instagram, I will stay with you during the break.
All clear. Back in 2.
Thanks, Jordan. For those of you on Instagram, I do the show live on VoiceAmerica, but I also decided just to live stream it on Instagram so that if people want to join or leave a comment or ask a question, you can. So while we're waiting for the 2 minutes until we're back on, oh my goodness. Okay. Can you see me on Instagram? Are you here? Just had a little glitch. Hey, drop me a emoji if you're here and you're with me. All right, if you're just joining, I'm on break from my show. I'm about to go back on in about a minute. If you have any questions or comments or anything to say at all, How's your day? Where are you? Where are you coming in from? I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in Calabasas. Where are you? Okay. Um, so we're about to come back on and I will talk about how to feel more confident. Actual strategies now that we've gone over why you don't feel confident.
Coming back in 15 seconds.
Welcome back to the Binge Cure with Dr. Nina. Have questions for Dr. Nina? Join her on the show at 866-472-5792. That's 866-472-5792. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the Binge Cure with Dr. Nina. Today we are talking about how to feel more confident. And in the first half of the show, I talked about why you don't feel confident and the obstacles to confidence and some of the reasons that lead us to not feeling good enough. And what is good enough, by the way? Let's even challenge that. And now we're going to talk about, well, how to feel more confident. Confidence is a state that is cultivated through self-awareness and self-acceptance. And one of the foundational steps to feeling more confident is to practice self-compassion. We cannot feel confident if we're tearing ourselves down. We have to have compassion and understanding for ourselves to guide us into feeling better about ourselves. That means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that you would treat a close friend. Because when you make a mistake or you have a setback, instead of being critical, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, or oh, you made another mistake, oh, that kind of attitude, which does not promote confidence, by the way. No, it does not. Remind yourself instead, hey, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has setbacks. What can I learn from this? How can I move forward? It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm going to fail upward. That's how it works. Mistakes are a sign that you are trying. Mistakes are not a reason that you are not good enough, right? So here are some ways to cultivate more self-confidence. First, challenge the negative self-talk. Our internal dialogue absolutely affects our self-esteem. When you think negatively about yourself, about your appearance or your abilities, pause. Ask yourself, is this something you would say to anyone you cared about? Would you say to someone else, oh my God, I cannot believe you made a mistake. You suck. You'd be like, right? I don't think you'd say that. You'd say, okay, you made a mistake, like, understandable. What can you learn from it? And, let's move on. Don't be so hard on yourself. Hey, here's a thought. How about if you treat yourself as you would a friend? What a concept. If you wouldn't say it to a friend or someone you love, don't say it to yourself. So replace self-criticism with positive statements that actually reflect reality and your true worth and your potential. Also, set realistic goals. Setting realistic and achievable goals is another way to boost your self-confidence. If you say, hey, I'm going to run a marathon, and then you go out and you run a mile, and you're like, oh, I now I've got to run like 25 more miles. I only ran a mile. Then you're going to feel terrible. But if you decide to set the goal of running a marathon and you say, you know what, I'm going to start off with running a mile or half a mile. That's my goal. You're going to run that mile and you're going to be like, oh, yes, I am on my way. I am heading towards my ultimate finish line. So the way that you frame your goals has a lot to do with the way you feel. And the way you feel has everything to do with what you do. Thoughts and beliefs lead to feelings, lead to behavior. I only ran a mile and I have to run 26 point whatever miles. I'm never going to do it. It's going to make you feel terrible, lack confidence, feel horrible, and you cannot tear yourself down and lift yourself up at the same time. So if you've just torn yourself down, what's going to happen? Hey, you might turn to food to escape your own mean voice and to comfort yourself and soothe yourself. But if you have the thought of, hey, my ultimate goal is to run that marathon, and I ran a mile, I am on my way, I'm so proud of myself. How are you going to feel? You're going to feel great. And if you feel great, you do not need to eat to get away from your own mean voice because you're not being mean to yourself. So break down larger objectives into smaller, manageable tasks and be sure to celebrate your progress. Celebrate your progress. Achieving these smaller milestones, these smaller goals, that gives you a sense of accomplishment, and it reinforces your belief in your abilities. It makes you have that can-do attitude. I ran the mile. Next time I'm going to run a mile and a half, and then 2 miles. And eventually I'm going to get to my goal. Also, get support. Another way to build self-confidence is get support. Surrounding yourself with supportive and positive people, encouraging people. And when I say positive people, I don't mean positive in the positive thinking, weaponizing positivity to make you not have painful thoughts. I don't mean like, look on the bright side. It could be worse. That's not being positive. That's being dismissive. But having an encouraging, open-minded, overall positive outlook, being around those people makes you feel better. It just makes you feel better. When you have relationships that uplift you, that encourage you, and people are there for you, and when they say, you know, I believe in you, you've got this, or I understand how you feel. It will not always feel this way, but I hear you now. That is going to make you feel better. So encouraging people rather than critical, negative people who just bring you down. And then when you're down, make yourself feel better by eating something. So positive interactions with the right kind of people make you feel valued, make you feel appreciated, boost your self-esteem, boost your sense of happiness and well-being, and that makes you feel confident. Also, do what you love. Do what you love. What is the saying? Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I get that. Maybe you could tell I love what I do. So doing things that you enjoy and excel at can really increase your confidence, whether it is a hobby, whether it is a sport or something creative or whatever it is. Do what you love. It makes you feel fulfilled. Depending on what it is, it might make you feel confident and accomplished. And that can give you a real confidence boost. Although, don't make your confidence only predicated on what you are accomplishing. That's the human doing, and we want you to be a human being. So doing things you like, feels good, reminds you of your strengths and your talents, reinforces a positive self-image. These are all confidence builders. Also, exercise. That might be an unexpected one, but exercise. Only exercise you like, though, because so even though exercise is kind of associated with physical health, it can actually affect your confidence, because when you regularly do it, not only does it release endorphins, which improves mood, reduces stress, all of that, but it makes you feel connected with your body. And the more that you do exercise, the better that you get. Last year I started weight training, and when I was doing like tricep kickbacks, I started off with, I'm embarrassed to share, 3 pounds was hard for me. 3 pounds. And a year plus later, I can do 12 or 15 pounds. And that is such a great feeling. I feel stronger. I feel a sense of, wow, well-being. So the right kind of exercise, or, you take a Zumba class, and at first you're like, what are they doing? I can't keep up. But after a while, you go in there and you do it. It gives you confidence and it's fun. So yes, the right kind of exercise. And it is also important, of course, to celebrate yourself. So often we denigrate ourselves. We criticize ourselves. We tear ourselves down. That contradicts building confidence. So to build confidence, you've got to celebrate yourself, recognize and celebrate you, your unique qualities, your achievements. And I really like keeping a journal where you regularly note down those successes. In my online coaching groups, we always start with successes and at first with wins. And at first people are like, oh, I have nothing to say. There's been no wins whatsoever. But now their minds are trained to look for wins. And every week it's like, oh, wow, I really feel good about this. And you could see how people are just blooming, becoming way more confident in themselves because they're focused on what they're doing right, what they're doing well, where their competencies are. They're celebrating themselves instead of constantly attacking themselves, which makes you feel bad, which makes you turn to food to escape your own mean voice and feel better. So I really like, journaling, and because there's something about writing these things down that feels more powerful, like journaling pen to paper. And just reinforcing these positive experiences that make you feel good about yourself can help you build a more positive self-image and reinforce your inner confidence. So, as you can see, building true sustainable confidence does not come from losing weight and seeing a number on the scale. It comes from challenging our social narratives. It comes from cultivating personal experiences that lead us to feel better about ourselves and challenging old experiences that gave us the message that we're not good enough. And when you also enhance your sense of self-compassion and self-acceptance, guess what? You are going to feel better. By reframing the negative self-talk, setting realistic goals, surrounding ourselves with supportive people, doing things we like, and celebrating our unique qualities, we can gradually shift our self-perception and develop a more positive self-image, aka self-confidence. So again, confidence is not about meeting some arbitrary standard of where you should be in life or what you should weigh or how you should look. It is about embracing who you are with all your strengths and all your imperfections, your perfectly imperfect self, and believing in your inherent worth. And yes, it takes time to build. I wish my magic wand worked right away. I've been told it works slowly, but I wish it worked right away. It does not, but the good news is that by being consistent and putting the effort in, you can create that foundation of inner strength that will support you through all of life's challenges and triumphs. That is confidence. So I thought we have a few more minutes left, so I thought that I would share, in the interest of, since we're talking about confidence, so here is my adult coloring book. I just put out 2 new adult coloring books, and one of them is called Color Yourself Confident. And on each page, you can get it on Amazon. On each page, there's a reminder for you to tell yourself something about you that is going to bolster your confidence. Like, I'm just randomly, so here's one. I accept all parts of myself. When we accept all parts of ourselves, and that's the perfectly imperfect, then we're not so worried when we're imperfect, because we know that there are parts of ourselves that we really appreciate and enjoy and that are good and that we love, and parts of ourselves that not so much, but that's okay. That's why I kind of like self-acceptance over self-love, because self-acceptance suggests that there are parts of yourself that you are maybe not liking so much, whether it's internal or physical or whatever, but that overall you have an overall sense of self-acceptance, which definitely makes you feel more confident. See, I'm just looking at the one. Oh, here's one. Here's one that I know will apply to you. I am capable of doing hard things. I am capable of doing hard things. When we face obstacles or face hard times, it's important to remember that you have faced hard times before. You have gone through a tough time before in your life. I know you have. Remember what it took for you to overcome those challenges. And remind yourself that you are capable, you are resourceful, you are able, you can overcome whatever it is that you are facing now because you are capable of doing hard things. I'll end with this one. I am my own best friend. When you are your own best friend, you cultivate confidence. You are supportive, you validate, acknowledge, encourage yourself. You're supportive of yourself, you're kind to yourself, you're compassionate to yourself. When you are your own enemy, you make yourself feel terrible, and then you eat to feel better, to escape, to soothe, to comfort, all the things. So be your own best friend. That is the best thing that you can do to cultivate a sense of confidence. I lied. I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. Here's another one. I am uniquely special. You are uniquely special. What is the Dr. Seuss? I was talking about I felt like Dr. Seuss earlier, so it's on my mind. No one is youer than you. You are you. I forget how it exactly goes, but you are you. No one is youer than you. There's only one you, and appreciate you. Don't think that you have to be different to be better. Right? It's a message that darn diet industry sells us. You'll be better if you lose weight. You'll be better if this. Your life will be better. You will be better. No, you are uniquely special as you are. And if we don't look at what makes us feel bad about ourselves, you know what happens? When you lose weight, guess what? For a while, you're like, oh, this is awesome. I feel good. I can wear what I want. I feel good. I can go on dates. I can do whatever, I could do whatever I told myself I wasn't going to do until I lost weight. Now I can do it. Yay. And then if you don't look at why you don't feel good enough about yourself, if you don't have confidence within yourself, you know what is going to happen? You're going to find something else that you're going to feel bad about. Something else that is going to make you feel shame. It just becomes something different. I think it's the Binge Cure, but it might be, I forget what I write about in what book. It's either in Food for Thought or the Binge Cure. A person who lost a lot of weight and did it in a way that I didn't think was good, had weight loss surgery, and of course, did start gaining it back. But before they started gaining it back, they would come in, and whereas before they thought, oh my God, my weight is a problem. My weight is a problem. Everyone's looking at me thinking like, oh, they're too big, judging me, criticizing me. I felt terrible about themselves. After they lost weight, they came in one day and said, oh, I know what people are thinking. They can tell I'm just not as smart as I seem. They could tell that I am not, they think I'm bright, but I'm actually not bright. I have fooled everybody. So whereas once his lack of self-esteem was blamed, oh, I just outed the person as male. Okay. Yes, I won't say the name. Whereas once their lack of self-esteem and self-confidence was based on their weight, then it just shifted. Just morphed into something else. Now it was, oh, they're not smart enough. They fooled everybody. They're not actually smart. If you don't get confident about you and really feel good about you, then even if you lose weight, you will find something else that you do not feel good enough. So that's why it's so important to think about what I talked about today. how you came to not feel good enough. Where did this message come from? Because nobody is born not feeling good enough. We learn that. We are taught that. And the good news is what we learn, we can unlearn, and we can learn a new way. So I hope that what I shared today on confidence is helpful to you. And that is the end of our show for today. So again, thank you so much for joining me on the Binge Cure with Dr. Nina on Voice America. I am here live every Thursday at noon, live on Voice America, and also on the live stream on Instagram. If you want to join the show, drop a comment, talk to me. And you can also listen later on all podcast channels. And if you are interested in getting the book, it's called Color Yourself Confident. The whole title is Color Yourself Confident. Oh, I don't have the whole title here. It is the whole title's on Amazon, but not apparently in the book. But it is an adult coloring book to help you cultivate self-confidence when you are for people who are struggling with emotional eating. And I also have another one, Color Yourself Happy, but that's a whole other show. So stay curious, not critical, and have confidence in yourself, the unique, perfectly imperfect person that you are. And you're going to feel better in your life. And when you feel better, you won't need to eat to comfort, distract, reward, soothe, or any of the things. Have a good week. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.